I know you're wondering, like, wait, why are we looking at Pan? We'll come back to that. We'll explain what's going on. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Of course, we are going to be talking about the brand new characters that are becoming to Dragon Ball Legends. And no, it is not your Gogeta Blue. It's not Gogeta. It's not Gogeta at all. Okay, there is absolutely, hear me, absolutely no word on when Gogeta is coming to Legends. There's no word on it. But I do want to point out, as I have in several videos up till now, the fact that there already is a base form and Super Saiyan Gogeta in the game, courtesy of the Broly event, does mean that that unit is pretty much pending release. The unit is done. They've got the model done. They're ready to release him at any point. I don't know what they're waiting for, though. They're probably going to change up some of his animations a little bit. And you can consider that more or less a beta for the character we would wind up getting, the Gogeta fight, the boss, that's in the Broly event. You can consider that to be a beta pretty much for the actual release of the character. But again, I don't know when they're going to actually take the opportunity to release the character. So keep that in mind. Couldn't tell you. But it's kind of weird that every other game, Buchigiri's gotten 3 Gogeta cards so far, and this game hasn't gotten 1 yet. And Legends was like the first one, pretty much, that got anything related to the movie. Dokkan's gotten theirs. The card game has gotten theirs, a physical card game, like everything. All right, so we are looking at Pan because, well, Pan was actually a launch unit. And she is finally... Her, at least the tag she introduced is finally becoming more relevant as of the last couple of updates, the Female Warrior tag. So they have gotten new units courtesy of these EX units that just came out. Mai came out as well. All 3 of those units I just mentioned, 2 EXs, Mai, they're all very, very good. And Android 18 Blue type is quietly one of the best characters in this game. So like this team is very, very good. A lot of people still look at it as a joke team. And I'm partially joking when I do videos and I say, like, this is the best team. I'm joking, right? Of course, that it's not as good as your Gogeta, Broly, Bardock-type teams, whatever the case is. But this team does deserve respect and obviously does deserve to be considered. Like, I think people look at this team and just like, oh, it's trash. It's really, really not. If you can build the team, it is a very competitive team, and it's very, very good, right? So keep that in mind, because when we get over to what we're going to be talking about, again, remember this image. We have brand new images for the Kale and Caulifla. So Kale is such an interesting unit because my circle of friends knew that Kale was coming out a long, long time ago, and she's finally coming out. So this is indicator that whatever we think is coming out will come out eventually. I'm just going to tell you guys now. I didn't report on it, but like there have been data mines for, and I don't even know how many people really know much of this, but Komodo, huge shout out to that guy. There have been data mines for things like Rosé's voice lines, Zamasu's voice lines in the game, Brienne's voice lines in the game. There are tons of stuff already pre-recorded, deep embedded into the game. So that being said, eventually, pretty much every character you think is going to come out is going to wind up coming out. So like, keep that in mind. Now, Kale, again, was one of those characters that got pushed. Originally, the Black Friday banner was supposed to feature Kale. They did wind up changing it up and I believe putting Majin Vegeta in her place. So stuff like that. So you just keep that in mind that, again, what you expect to come will eventually come. There's more that I can't really say right now that I know should be coming soon, but just keep that in mind. And it's not Gogeta related. Anyways, here we go. So we have Kale and Caulifla. For one, I think this is Super Saiyan 2 Caulifla. Looks like it. Evidenced by the fact that there's a controlled Kale in the background art, which, by the way, looks dope. Can't wait till we get the controlled Super Saiyan Kale back there. Just the regular. They don't call her controlled. They just call her Super Saiyan 2 Kale? I think Dokkan calls her SS2 Kale. I'd have to double check that. Anyways, that's pretty dope. I'm pretty sure this is SS2 Caulifla. It could be SS1, but that actually is important because actually, I think it's SS2. It says there's a 2 right here. I'm pretty sure that's purple SS2 Kale, or Caulifla, excuse me. That's important, though, because she's not going to be applicable to the Super Saiyan team. But I have to know what they're calling her here. They probably are calling Kale Berserk Kale, which is what the games typically call her, courtesy of Dragon Ball Heroes originating that. But she could just be called Super Saiyan, and if she's called Super Saiyan, that's a big deal, because that means she would, unlike Caulifla, be applicable to that regular Super Saiyan meta team that we have in the game. So that's actually something to consider. So keep that in mind, just in the back of your mind, of course. But in the meantime, I'm going to try, while I talk, to actually kind of pull up some of these characters in their Dokkan versions and see what they're talking about with the names. As far as Caulifla is concerned, like I said, she should be SS2. And then Kale, the 2 Kale cards that they have in Dokkan, for example, the controlled Kale, they just call her Super Saiyan 2 Kale, actually. They call her Super Saiyan 2 Kale in Dokkan. So that could be what they call her here. I mean, I'm relating it because it's all Bandai. You know, they try to seek consistency, I imagine. So we will see what happens with that. As far as the Berserk Kale, she actually doesn't have something I'm looking at, but I'll come back to her in just a moment. So this is actually really, really cool to me because, like I said, the team deserves to be respected. We have translations. We're going to go over them courtesy of Goresh. So he says, sorry, I'm a little bit late with this. Universe 6's female warriors, Kale and Caulifla, finally make their way to Dragon Ball Legends. The tag female warrior will soon become larger with the introduction of these warriors who appeared during the Universe Survival Saga. Kale is able to destroy the opponent's hand and obstruct combos. I wonder what they mean with obstruct combos. I think they don't really mean anything. I think they just mean like destroy hand card, which is pretty cool. Like, that type of ability is really good. There are cards that have disruption type abilities like that. Cooler, the new Broly, that just destroy cards in your hand, which can be actually very demoralizing when they destroy, you know, your Dragon Balls and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens. And she's also able to inflict debuffing effects on the enemy. So attribute downgrade effects. That's interesting. That's really, really interesting. And back on the case for Kale, Dokkan actually doesn't even consider this form at all Super Saiyan. They just call it Berserk, and they didn't even give her a link for Super Saiyan, which is dumb, but whatever. So I don't know what Legends will do. They might mess around and not give her the Super Saiyan tag. That'd be crazy, but I think they will. Anyways, moving on. So for Kale, like I said, I think that it's interesting she can destroy cards in your hand, but they don't really mention much else about her, aside from the fact that she's going to have attribute downgrades. Caulifla seems to have more to her. Caulifla's super attack is the Crash Cannon. She's able to inflict more damage when fighting against Saiyans. Oh, okay, that's a good one. That is, see, like, you know, like I talked about, this type of stuff is what can make the female warrior team very, very competitive against Saiyan teams. Like, they can beat them. They can. I've beaten them enough. But, like, this type of stuff is really, really good. Her being purple, though, I don't know if I like that, but it's good because the female warrior team only had an EX purple. So 2 EX purple. So it's actually really good here. I take that back because they're getting the 2 colors that they don't have sparking variations for, and the EX characters they have actually really are good. Fasha and Pan are really, really good. I actually like Fasha a bit more, but the purple EX Pan is respectable, and Android 18 purple type's very good. Probably a little better on the Android overall team, but nonetheless, she's really good. The worst thing about her is they gave her blast buffs instead of strike buffs when this team wants strike buffs for their Android units, but nonetheless, moving on. So they're getting a couple of characters that do fit a couple of elements that they respectably need. So that's interesting to note. Moving on, though, she's able to do more damage when fighting against Saiyans and is able to perform well no matter the enemy she's facing. Is she going to get type neutral? Wow, if she gets type neutral, she is going to be just like Broly, a purple unit that doesn't fear yellows. That's really interesting. And there's only a couple other units in the game. I think Piccolo's the other one. I think that's it. Kamikolo. He's not afraid of green types. He's neutral there. Wow, okay. If there's a female warrior character on the team, she increases her damage dealt whenever the enemy switches out. So when the enemy switches, she gets an inflicted damage bonus if she has a female warrior on her team. That's interesting. That's interesting. I wonder where they're going to get into Universe 6 tag stuff. The reason I mention that is because they kind of screwed themselves a little bit by bringing Kaba and not making him a U6 tag. What they did was with the Kaba units, not this one. I need to actually get the EX. But the Kaba units, what they did was they made him the Champa tournament one. And I don't, whatever, right? Champa tag, whatever, Champa tournament tag. But that'll never apply to these units. They're from the other arcs. The only ones it applies to are the Frosts in the game right now. So, like, I wonder when they're going to actually expand upon U6. We'll see what happens with that. But keep that in mind. Anyways, though, as we come back over here, the damage buff when the enemy switches is different. That's not something that's very common, but that's really, really cool. So they are also trying to limit her to being on this type of team, too, because this is something they do with units. Like they did it with Future Gohan. They want him to be mainly on a Future team, which is why he gets that bonus. I think with the Trunks. Bonus, 40% strike attack boost when he's with the Trunks. So, like, stuff like that. They're kind of doing the same thing here. The bottom of the page merely talks about equipment and some female warrior units that we already know about. No mention on if Kale and Caulifla will come in Ultra Space Time or some other female warrior specific manner. So he hits the nail on the head there. By the way, check out my man Goresh over on Twitter. He's the one that does the translations on. You probably seen him in the comments for this Legends Reddit post, which shout out to the Reddit, by the way. Anyways, follow him on Twitter. He's hitting the nail on the head. I don't think this is an Ultra Space Time summon banner, of course, because we already have one. But To be fair, this could come as the next Ultra Space Time. There's no word on a release date, apparently. So keep that in mind. Next, I think it's more likely that they're not Legends Rising units. Legends Rising is weird because it's typically saved for either movie variations or like big, scene characters like SSJ2 Gohan, for example, stuff like that. So I think that it's possible these come out on a Legends Female Warrior type banner. Like there's a Legends Yellow banner. There's been Legends Androids, that type of stuff, those themed banners. I think this will come out as new characters. And the last time we had, I think, Legends Android, speaking of which, we got the blue Android 18. It was a banner like that. So I think that is 100% plausible. And it's not outside of what they've done in the past to introduce units on a banner like that, one or two, right? Just to try to incentivize more summons on that type of banner. So that's what I think is going to happen as far as these units are concerned. But altogether, though, that's very interesting. They're showing Roshi here. Rip the man Roshi, because I don't even run him on the team anymore. He's good. He gets a damage buff here, but I don't know. I think it's better to just go with full female warriors nowadays. But that being said, everybody, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are you excited? I know a lot of you guys are going to skip this because a lot of you guys don't really care for the novelty that is the female warrior team. But I do, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait. Thank you all for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hit that subscribe if you happen to be new for more content. I will catch all of you guys in the next Dragon Ball Legends video. Take it easy, everybody.